Alright, what's going on, guys, and welcome to a Marvel's Rivals Guide. This is for, of course, the Black Panther. And now, before I do anything, you might be wondering, why am I watching this video of this random fucking kid trying to give me a tutorial on Black Panther? Well, because might not be that many right now, so you can get mine, as I just took some time to learn the character. I don't have that much time in him, but I have a pretty decent amount of experience. Yeah, that's about it. So if you watch the video, you're watching the video. Alright, let's get right into this. So I'm going to cover Black Panther in 3 different aspects. First, I'm going to go over all his abilities right now, and then there'll be a second part where I explain to you what you could use him for and his purpose, and 3, finally, what you could do personally as Black Panther. If that makes sense, you'll see it, and you'll start. So, first things first, he has his primary fire, which is just claws. Nothing special. They're kind of slow. They have mid to low damage, however, they're good for kind of just random splurges, if that makes sense. Not much you can do with them. I mean, melee, so like one chip is like a bar and a half. A melee is about 2 bars. That's a bad example. So now it's just like nothing crazy. They have like no range. You have to be in them. So it's like let me see. It's like this is as far as you can get. Like all of that, not that much. So vibranium claws don't really have that much to them. But with his passive, obviously, if you see right there at the bottom, Panther's Cunning, you deal higher damage when at low health. So pretty much, I'm not going to show you, but it's instead of doing 1.5 tick, it'll do about 2, and his melee will do about 2.5. So it's really good to be able to get more ticks that'll hopefully give you more cooldowns, which we're going to get to. All right. So speaking of which, I'm just getting this done. Speaking of which, we're going to talk about now his team up ability. I'm going to go over at the end because it's not as significant, mainly because 1, it's not that good, and 2, it's just not important to him as a character. Let's talk about his abilities. So I'm gonna talk about his subtle step first. So it's pretty simple. He can run up on walls, and when you jump off, you can have about double bounce. However, this is not like no double jump. You need to be on a wall. The cool thing about it though is the fact that if you can just do a little wall jumps, if you go pretty sick, if you dash in. But the thing is though, if it's a bigger wall, you should not hold X, because if you do this, like if you just tap X once, it'll not stop. So you need to tap it twice, so you get more mobile control. Now, next ability he has, I really want you to pay attention to this, is Spinning Kick. This is one of his more weaker abilities, but it's important for this. So it's a spiral forward attack and attaches Vibranium Mark to his enemies. Remember that. So that is not the damage it does. So you'll see when it gives Vibranium Mark. Oh, let me get it back in a second. You're gonna see. So it doesn't do high damage, but you see the necklace part. So what Vibranium Mark is, it helps give reset cooldowns and bonus health to Black Panther with his dash specifically. And his dash is Spirit Rend? I don't know how to say that. You lunge forward, deal damage, as I just said. You get the Vibranium Mark. Now, you get the Vibranium Mark from 3 abilities: the ult, the spear, and the spin kick. So after you do the kick, you dash, you get 40 extra HP, and you get a reset on your dash. However, the dash only resets with people with a necklace. So you obviously want to save that. So like your spinning kick is a good way to initiate fights. With that, it'll make it a bit light. Now his other ability, his right click, is Spear Toss. You toss a Vibranium Spear that has a radius explosion, and it also puts the Vibranium Mark. So you can see right here, it has great radius. So even if you don't hear him, that was just off. Yep, so you can still hit them for decent damage, and it gives you the Vibranium Necklace. That's 2 abilities you can have to initiate. So what I would do with these 2 abilities alone is the fact you should never initiate in a fight, if possible, if you want to do high damage and get high value without the dash. So if you throw in a spear or a dash, look at that, boom. It's like, and I have the dash again, which is great. So you want to play around with that, keep that in the back of your mind. And also is the fact that you can get a lot of health with this. Look at that, that's already 420. You can get even more than that. So if you keep getting the resets, you can keep doing more. I guarantee you can get at least 6 different resets with the Vibranium Claw, which is really cool. Now let's talk about his ult. Now the ult is something I thought was originally really bad, Bass Descent, but we're going to talk about it. So you summon Bass, and she pounces forward, dealing damage and attaching the Vibranium Mark to enemies, and she resets your fucking charge, which is really cool. So if you were to dash it and then just do bast.
Tremble before fast!
You immediately get the dash reset, and they already have the vibranium
Feel the Panther's
mark.
fury.
Now the vibranium mark, I don't know how long it lasts. I think it's about 5 seconds, but either way, it's still really long. And with the reset, what it can do is like it doesn't do that much. It's like not that far to get, so
Tremble before fast!
it's about 15 meters, and it does decent damage. However,
In
what mainly
Wakanda's
makes
name.
Bass all good is when everything's chaotic and really bunched up together. If you go behind and just immediately dash in and use the ult, you get the dash reset, and you should target anybody you can. And then after you get the first dash reset, depending on what you do, is like what's going to determine if you live or not. But you have the extra health. Now that's a lot of information, but I'll get to that. So yeah, that is all of Black Panther's abilities. I know, and just for like the T on top, his team ability isn't anything special. You need magic for it, and pretty much him or Psylocke, they have their two ability is able to wing run
We
them
are
in
in
time a few
front.
seconds. So
Prepare
if you dash
yourselves.
in, you have a dash reset, you can just press triangle and you go back to like where you were earlier. It's okay. I think it's good if you just don't play around with it, but you don't really need that if you have the Nexus, of course. So
Double KO!
that's the main point of Black
You
Panther.
were not blessed.
All right, so now that we have that first part out of the way, I really want to get to point of what the point of this character is. So a lot of people thought this character is more of a Genshi because of the dash reset. That's not true because Genshi in Overwatch, for those of you who play it, which if you have, I'm sorry, that game is more or less with Genshi. If you get to kill with his dash, it gives him a reset. This, on the other hand, you need like a bound effect or like a debuff. And you have a debuff, it doesn't affect the player, but it has a mark on them. So this mark obviously will have Black Panther want to target you to be able to get the reset. I'm obviously going to target this guy more than this guy because he has the reset. And then boom, I get the reset. It's just so simple.
You were not blessed.
But where Black Panther really thrives in this game is more or less about being a scary character. So what I mean by this is the fact that there's about 4 characters in this game that are like this, including Wolverine, which he's also a really fun character that I might do a review on one day. But the main good thing about this character is the fact that you're able to pounce on characters and always be in the back of their mind. So if people don't focus Black Panther for most of the game, you're going to get cheeky kills. So what I mean by this is you should always go for squishies. Anyone over like the 350 H people, which is most characters, you should not go for unless your team is converting with you. So obviously tanks, besides Bruce Banner, you should never go for. Unless it's someone like Captain America, then you should definitely be going for. Now, the main thing I really say with Black Panther to do with him as a character is you should always just be on your feet, never staying in one place for too long. This mainly affects him on CC maps, Control Center. I think that's what they're called. I don't even know. I forget. Either way, capture the point. That one. The main reason why it's not good for him is because obviously contesting the point is really important. However, Black Panther really thrives, in my opinion, in payload maps so far with the modes they have right now. The reason being is because obviously you get the payload, but if you're defending, it is so much easier because you can do whatever you want as long as you can be able to keep them off the payload. But mobility, now I know I'm saying a lot of information, so hopefully I'm going at an okay pace. But mobility-wise, it is not too bad for Black Panther, strictly because he has over 3 different movement abilities. One being a double jump, 2 of them being really good damage movement abilities. So you should always try to practice your movement with Black Panther, including decently high sense. Your aim does not matter because the only thing you need to aim with is the spear. But either way, it doesn't matter because I promise. Alright, so I know again that was a bunch of information, and hopefully if you want to go back, or hopefully what I'm showing you is helping. But now for the third part, and this is the most important part. It's about what you can do as Black Panther. Now, I've explained to you what his character is good for. Now, what you should do as him in playing. So, obviously, whether you're playing competitive, quick play, it does not matter.
Prepare yourselves.
What really matters with this character is just the way you play with him. So, I would say, no matter what, no matter how your team is very unbalanced, whether you have 3 tanks, 1 DPS, and 2 healers, which is better than most, or 1 tank, 4 DPS, no matter what, Black Panther is a character that does need some support, which is very unfortunate because he has no self-healing ability. Because he has temp health, but that doesn't convert into normal health. It's very unfortunate. However, if it was that way, he could be a solo character. But Panther does need some support, so you're going to have to know when to dash in and when to leave. So you should always take that in mind. Because no matter what, whenever you're playing, you need your dash. Your dash is how you get in a fight and out of a fight. So if you have your dash, you should always initiate by giving somebody the debuff of the vibranium ship, dashing in, and when you hit that, depending on what you think you can do, if you can get a pick, get the pick. Hopefully you can get the dash reset. Now, my main thing is the fact like his ult is one of those shields that isn't really good. So you can build it pretty fast if you're doing consistent enough.
The enemy
So
approaches.
if you really want to, if you dash in a fight, if you were to dash in a fight and you have no way to get out,
Tremble before
you
fast.
can just ult and get out. It's like I know that's gonna be bad for some people. Like, oh no, you're wasting an ult. But guess what? If you can actually live longer and you've been doing good in the match, it does not matter if you waste the ult because you're doing enough. That is what I see the most important with Black Panther is staying alive and getting a little bit of value. He's one of those characters I like to call a tick character, being he's like a roach. He's always in the back doing little things that can help contribute to the team. Now, if you have, there are certain characters that do pair well, not just magic for the team ability, but if you have like a Doctor Strange that can give you a portal or a shield like Cap or Magneto, or even Hulk. Hulk, I think is the best way to team with him, strictly because Hulk can dive with him and give him a shield, and it's really good for him to stay alive. Now, other characters like DPS, it doesn't really matter who you play with him, unless you want to dive. I say Storm is really good for her damage boost and her speed, but if you honestly, you can have any character. Punisher can give him good cover. Fucking Spider-Man can control the air for him. Iron Man can cover the sky for him. It's like you can do all these things, but it depends how you play him. You understand? And then like support, it doesn't matter. But I'd say like the best would be Mantis, but Mantis is a really good support. But yeah, so I hope that helps this third part. Now the final bit of this video is just basic tips. Nothing crazy, and I hope it helps in some way. Now again, basic tips: never engage a fight without one, your dash, and two, the vibranium effect. Unless you are certain that you can live this with a teammate or two, never do this only because you are guaranteed to die. Especially if the enemy has any level of competence, you will die. However, the thing is, if you your spears are extremely fucking, I forget the word. Negotiable. No, that's not the word. Not negotiable. Exploitable. Whatever. I'm just gonna say exploit. You can exploit them. They're fucking. You don't need them. So the cooldown is about, I think, 5 seconds. That's about 5 seconds. So yeah, the main point is you don't really need to aim with it. Black Panther is one of those characters that doesn't need any aim, which is perfectly fine because you can just hit them in the
The
area.
enemy approaches.
That's still hitting him and gives him the marks. So then you can just get it. It's just really good. So another thing, if you get more than 2 dash resets, fully commit to a fight. It doesn't matter. I think you should always fully commit if you have more than 2 dash resets, but that gives you an extra 80 health, which means you have 380 health, which is decent. Unless you have characters that melt you, like Iron Fist or Punisher, I understand. We should always initiate with these attacks. And finally, always try to not be on ground level like this. Like, obviously, this is not the best terrain kind of map, but always try to stay on your toes. You have a lot of movement abilities. So you have a lot of options. Stay always up and make sure you have at least 2 cooldowns. Your spear doesn't matter. If you have at least a jump and then one of your dashes, that's perfectly okay. And then one last tip: always try to have at least one debuff during a fight. No matter if you're fighting them or if you throw it, because it has 5 seconds. So whether or not you're targeting somebody with like your Scarlet Witch,
The
but
enemy
then you
approaches.
send like a fucking spear at like a Bucky, like all right, once the Scarlet Witch is dead, hopefully you can just dash right into Bucky and get the reset. Because by that point you'll have the health and you can get another reset with the debuff, if that makes sense. All right, guys. So this was my little tutorial guide, not tutorial. This is not Minecraft. It's a little guide for Black Panther. I hope you enjoyed. Um, Again, if you enjoy this type of content, I'm going to do a few more. Not too many. I'm not a YouTuber, obviously. I'll upload clips. I like playing this game in my free time whenever I can. It's just a lot of fun. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, have a beautiful day. See you.